Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we have more information on the BlackSquare simulations Duke coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this thing is on final approach, so stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my overkills tutorial guides from Microsoft Flight Simulator or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. All right, so first up, as you guys know, I have been following the Duke project for quite a while. I've been doing multiple videos on it. Every time that we do a BlackSquare video, I mention the Duke and how excited I am for it. But we finally have some new information from the developers over at BlackSquare that I think you guys are going to find very interesting. So make sure that you guys save up the money for this amazing aircraft. I'm sure it'll probably likely price. This is just speculation. I have no facts to this, but likely I would assume the pricing will probably be close to that of what the TBM 850 was. Now the TBM 850, for those of you guys who don't know, is BlackSquare's most recent aircraft that released to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's absolutely phenomenal, fully modeled, incredible sounds. Well, I mean, the sounds are using the default TBM 930 sounds, but to me it matches the aircraft honestly pretty well. But it has a fully modeled cockpit, failures, you name it. It's already bitten me a couple times by not always following the checklist. And so I'm super excited to see BlackSquare's rendition of the Duke. Now, we knew that the aircraft is going to be provided in a couple of different variants. So we're going to have the original, the turbocharged piston engine variant of the B60, and then there will also be a turbine version that will be coming onto the aircraft as well. Now, the really cool thing about that is that both of those website links are actually active right now. So if you go to the BlackSquare or the development site, you can see both the piston and the turbine engines being advertised. They also have, which I'll have a link to, a PDF that compares the two aircraft. So make sure that you guys check that out as well. That, again, that link will be down in the description so you can see what the differences between the two variants of the aircraft are. Now, the aircraft's being modeled after a 1974 version of the B60. This aircraft is going to be, I think, a ton of fun and probably one of the best dual-engine aircrafts that we're going to have for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is probably the biggest reason why I think I'm super excited for it. As much as I love the TBM 850, the PC-12, all of these aircraft, I think they're absolutely phenomenal. I've always been drawn to twin-engine aircraft. There's just something about twin-engine. I don't know if it's just that arrogant man, I fly two engines, you know? I don't know. But it's just something about that aircraft. I think that's why I'm so excited for the A380. You know, when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know, or any simulation, not like you can feel it, quote unquote, but, you know, when the A380 comes out, I fly four engines, you know, the largest commercial airliner in the world. You know, I don't know. Call me crazy. But this aircraft, I think, is going to be one of the best, if not the best, twin-engine aircrafts that are currently available in the simulator today. And that's saying something because you have some pretty good competition out there. Don't get me wrong, guys. So why do I speculate that? Well, the reason why I'm speculating that's going to be one of the best is honestly coming from the TBM 850. Again, there are many, many great highly modeled, incredibly accurately modeled aircraft that currently exist for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I like the Milviz 310. I like the, I can't think of FlySimware. I can't remember what aircraft it is. I hope you guys can fill in the blank. But the other twin engine that's very similar to the 310. They came out about the same time. Anyway, I want to say the Seminole, but that's not right. It sounds like Coronado. But anyway, the TBM 850 from BlackSquare, there's just something completely different about it. There's a different feel when you are interacting with the cockpit and with the controls and flying the flight model that is provided with it. I have a much different experience in that aircraft than I think I do with any other plane in the sim currently. And that's saying something because, again, I like all the aforementioned aircraft. The SimWorks Studio PC-12 with its latest update, fixing the craziness on takeoff. It's an amazing plane. Absolutely amazing. It's astonishing aircraft. Very, very well done. But there's just something about that BlackSquare TBM 850. Now, I've always been a fan of the TBM 850, so some of this could just be fanboy talk. But the efforts that were put into the 850 in the modeling, those being transposed over here into the Duke, I think is going to be a very big deciding factor into the quality of the aircraft. Some of the things that we know that are already being modeled in regard to, for example, failing and errors that can happen with inside the aircraft. So first off, we know that this particular simulation of the aircraft is going to have things such as overhauls in the engine starting and propeller feathering process, fouling, vapor lock, flooding, backfires, turbocharger simulations that have also been featured in, for example, the TBM 850 as well. But again, the Piston Duke will be available with and without the Grand Duke variant. So again, you're not just getting a whole bunch of features, but you're getting different variants of the same aircraft. Things that are going to be also done with the Grand Duke. Okay, what the Grand Duke is going to offer is winglets, vortex generators, aft fuselage strakes, as well as an extra fuel capacity, increased cruise speeds, and increased useful load. So again, they're sort of going way above and beyond when it comes to the different variants of the aircraft. Now, the texturing and modeling, as you guys can see, is right on par with that of what I feel is deserved in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's an older aircraft, so you're sort of seeing that age in the overall paint scheme and the design of the plane. You're not seeing a whole lot of that glossiness. There's a new EFB that's coming with this aircraft. We're going to be talking about that in just a minute here. But you're seeing the nostalgia coming back into the simulator from that, for example, in difference of the TBM 850. TBM 850 had a very glossy look, has a very shiny look to it, where this one, you're getting more into that nostalgia. You're seeing more of the flattened colors, the flattened paint. Now, obviously, these are pre-release screenshots that we're looking at here, guys, so all of this could be subject to change. You know, you could see something completely different. But again, a lot of detail going into the modeling and texturing of the aircraft, talking about all the failures that we aforementioned. Again, the experience that we already have in the TBM 850 and the modeling of the systems and the switches. I think this aircraft is going to be absolutely astounding, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Let's go ahead and start talking about some of the avionics things. Now, both versions of the aircraft are going to have a 12 different options, essentially. You're going to have the Bendix King 90 Bravo. You're going to have the GTN 650, 750, PMS 50, or TDS will work with it. The GNS 530, GNS 430 options. A Century 4 autopilot is also included in both versions of the aircraft. So this is just building. I hope you guys see what I'm trying to do here. This is building and building and building. And by the way, this video was not solicited. This is of my own volition here. I'm genuinely this excited about this aircraft. It's going to have everything that I got from the TBM 850 and that I love, and now I'm getting it in a twin engine aircraft. I'm super excited for this one. I've been following this one for a while, and I'm really glad to see this new information. Much like we saw with the TBM 850 and other BlackSquare aircraft, look at the detail that is being put in just to the instrument panel here. It looks absolutely phenomenal, but again, it's showing the age. You're seeing the modification look, for example, the GNS 430 there, okay? These are the kind of stuff that's actually, that's not a 430, excuse me, that might be the 650. Is that the 650? I think that's the 650. Sorry, that's not the 430. The work that's being done here, there you go, 750, 650 stack right there. The weather radar, again, showing up top here, much like we saw with the TBM 850. Look at the detail that's being put into the control stack. I mean, it just looks absolutely phenomenal. And every time that I hear of a BlackSquare aircraft coming down the pipeline in any simulator, you know, I'm jumping all over it. I cannot wait to see this thing in action and to get my hands on it. The depth, the coloring, the shading, the detail that's being put into all of it. These are all the stuff that I look for when it comes to rating an aircraft. And I keep going back to the TBM 850 because that's the BlackSquare reference that I currently have. I was super stoked for the 850 for multiple reasons. Again, I'm a TBM fan in general. I was following Steve Okonivo for years and years, always wanted the 850, and I always liked the steam gauge aircraft. I am much more of a steam gauge flyer than I am of a glass cockpit. We flew glass cockpits all the time in the simulator when it first released because that's really all we had. And everybody was using them, and it made sense, you know, but it's nice to see some of these older aircraft coming out with these different gauges and things like that they're a lot of fun to use. Like, this is an aircraft, again, just like I did with the TBM 850. I will be making a PDF guide on this one because, again, it's going to be busy. You're going to have a lot to do, and that's the other thing that I like with these fully modeled cockpits and these in-depth system management aircraft. It makes it a lot of fun to learn how to fly them because you're busy. It's not just flying from A to B, enjoying the scenery. As great as that is, for me personally, it gets old after a while. I liked having something to keep me sort of occupied, especially once you get to that cruise altitude. And this aircraft looks like it's going to nail it. I mean, guys, look at that. That looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks phenomenal. The other thing is, you guys know that I like how everything's always modeled. I guarantee BlackSquare is going to do it. We've already seen pictures with doors open, things like that. You know the window's going to open, and goofy stuff like that. I love that flash carpet flooring. I love it. I absolutely love the nostalgia that's being put into this aircraft. Finally, this is also going to be their first aircraft that's going to have a fully integrated onboard EFB that's going to allow you to control everything about the aircraft. Apparently, this was initially not supposed to be quite the undertaking that it was. It was initially just designed as a failure management system to replace that was located in the weather radar, for example, the TBM 850. To manage the failures, you go into the weather radar and actually play with them inside of there. Here now he's created a fully operational EFB that is on board, and you can see it's modeling everything from electrical, the hydraulic, fuel flow systems, engine, aircraft maintenance, and you're also going to have things like door control as well as fuel load and payload load. So you're going to be able to control everything from the EFB, which is another very awesome tool. I like the way they're doing this. The reason why I am a big proponent of EFBs in simulation is because you don't have access to everything to do as you would normally, obviously, in real world. The thing I like about these kind of EFBs is where they're more like a tablet form is I like being able to put them away. I like the fact that you can drop them down the side of the door and then next you know you forget about them. So you set it, forget it, you're off to the races, right? In the big commercial airliners, having them mounted off the side panels and things like that and the armrest, that makes perfect, complete sense. They exist in the real world. That makes sense to me. And I know that tablets exist on the yokes and things like that in the real world today for navigation. But this is going to bring something that's a little bit more like what this sort of reminds me of is honestly what both Just Flight and Carenado do with their aircraft. You know, Carenado is a big one that has that tablet you can sort of stow down the side. You open it up, set your configuration, then drop it back down. And I really like that mentality because it removes that feature from the visual view and takes you back into that older state of immersion if that's what you're going for. And that's something, like I said, that I really enjoy. So I am super excited about this. Now, we talked about final approach. Let's talk about what that means. So as far as the aircraft being on final approach, BlackSquare has stated that they are hoping to have this aircraft as early to us as March of this year. So just 2 months away, maybe less. It depends on how you look at it. I mean, we're already in the 17th of January as of today. So this could be, a month and a half. Who knows? I'm really hoping to get my hands on it sooner. I am absolutely going to try. I'm not going to lie to you guys right now. I am trying to see if I can possibly get a review copy, something to showcase to everyone, get that hype train rolling even faster. That's why I'm doing this video. The BlackSquare aircraft, again, I am not trying to fault any other developer. There's amazing aircraft, but there's just something about the BlackSquare aircraft that makes, to me anyway, I feel they stand out just a little bit above the rest. But again, that's personal preference. You guys tell me what you think and where your thoughts are on the BlackSquare Duke that is hopefully going to be landing at your hangar March of 2024. So just a few weeks away, guys. As always, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful, give you something to think about. Let me know what your thoughts and comments are down below, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, folks.